Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now, a quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. You can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. Now the news in full. President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to boosting economic growth, job creation, and regional integration through strategic partnership and infrastructure. Speaking through the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, at the official commissioning of the African Trade Center in Abuja, President Tinubu described the newly inaugurated facility as a vital step towards enhancing trade capacity and fostering unity across the continent. Kike Lomo Okere reports.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was represented by the Secretary at the official commissioning of the African Trade Center in Abuja, says the Africa Trade Center will play a pivotal role in unlocking new jobs opportunity, reducing unemployment and strengthening national by bridging regional divides and fostering collaboration across various sectors. According to him, the initiative will help in achieving Nigeria's long-term development goals and positioning the country as a major economic force within Africa and globally.
This occasion, which is about the commissioning of this building, is actually a realization of a broad vision for Africa's economic future. The AAT system is a testament to the power of collaboration, resilience, and forward-thinking leadership. It is founded on physical structure, discipline of innovation, and power in entrepreneurship, and catalyst for sustainable development.
One built on hope and determination. Like the other AATCs, the Abuja AATC will serve a multi-purpose goal. It will serve as a platform for fostering deeper regional and continental integration, and has a Flexing Bank's permanent regional office.
The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, and the Minister of Trade, Industry and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Uduwole, highlighted the current economic challenges facing the country, pointing out that Nigeria is grappling with the heightened financial risk and macroeconomic pressures. They further expressed confidence that the Africa Trade Center will serve as a hub for promoting intra-Africa trade, reducing reliance on import from outside the continent, and facilitating the seamless exchange of goods and services among African nations. The minister added that the AATC will attract both local and international investors, injecting much needed capital into the Nigerian economy, as well as creating a ripple effect that benefits other African economies.
A symbol of partnership, integration, and prosperity for the African continent.
This center is not just for Flexing Bank or policymakers. It's for our youth, hungry for knowledge and innovation, our women-owned businesses building legacies with limited access, our MSMEs trying to move from survival to skill, our exporters daring to compete globally.
All officials reiterated the federal government's dedication to supporting initiatives that drives economic inclusion, improve livelihoods, and position Nigeria as a gateway for trade and innovation in Africa. Kike Lomo Okere, Global Television News.
The chairman Senate Committee on Independent National Electoral Commission, who was represented by the clerk of the Senate Committee on INEC, Fayam Philip, urged the political stakeholders to support the idea of settling all electoral rancor, dissatisfaction and grievance before fixing a day for swearing in. He explained that with the political issue being resolved before swearing in will help fixing the challenges in courts.
The Joint Committee on Electoral Matters has held several retreats across some geopolitical zones in Nigeria, And one of the major input received and discussed is that all election litigation should be concluded before the swearing in of any candidate. If this is adopted, the amendment will resolve unnecessary court cases.
In his goodwill address, the chairman of INEC, Mahmoud Yakub, who was represented by Tanimu Inuwa, Director Litigations and Prosecutions, INEC, pledged the Commission's commitment in strengthening electioneering process in Nigeria.
Asked me to assure PLAC that the Commission is always ready to continue to partner with PLAC towards making our electoral administration seamless. The Commission also wanted to inform the public that it is doing everything possible to enhance the electoral integrity in Nigeria. Hence, the introduction of card reader machine, viewers, and it is currently understudying the performance of the beepers with a view to improving its performance come 2027.
The highlight of the event is the unveiling of the published report on election litigation, which ushered in a new narrative in electoral discussions. Godwin Sunday, reporting for Global Television News.
To celebrate the power of the press and the resilience of journalists, the Nigerian Union of Journalists NUJ-FCT Council has announced a historic Guinness World Record attempt for the longest interviewing marathon. The event, tagged Nigeria Our Strength, will be held from April 17th to 20th, 2025. Sharon J. completes the story.
Speaking at a press conference ahead of the event, media advocate and event host Livinus Chibuike Victor emphasized the critical role journalists play in promoting transparency, challenging power, and giving a voice to the voiceless. He says the 72-hour interview marathon, which is part of this year's World Press Freedom Celebrations, aims to spotlight the enduring role of journalists in building democratic societies.
Professional journalism remains a vital defense against disinformation and manipulation. This press release underscores a call to protect press freedom, invest in quality journalism, stop the harassment of journalists, and recognize the indispensable role of journalists in fostering open societies.
Chairperson of the NUJ-FCT Council, Comrade Grace Ike, says the initiative will serve as a platform for introspection, growth, and advocacy for press freedom, as well as improved welfare for media professionals. She noted that the media landscape is evolving rapidly, and while technology opens new frontiers for storytelling and audience engagement, it also poses challenges such as misinformation and erosion of trust. Comrade Ike also stressed that press freedom is not a privilege but a pillar of democracy, adding that defending this freedom is the shared responsibility of journalists, policymakers, and the public.
Press freedom is not a privilege. It is a fundamental pillar of democracy, and protecting this freedom is our collective responsibility as journalists, policymakers, and citizens of the world. The media landscape is evolving, no doubt. Technology has opened new frontiers for storytelling, access to information, and engagement with audiences. Yet, it also presents challenges: the spread of misinformation, the weaponization of fake news, and the erosion of public trust in the media.
The upcoming record attempt will feature conversations with thought leaders, policy influencers, and the public on issues ranging from governance and human rights to climate change and education. The NUJ-FCT Council hopes it will catalyze stronger protections for journalists and a renewed commitment to ethical journalism. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
Heartfelt gesture of support, the Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Imam Suleiman Ibrahim, presented a 1 million naira check and fully furnished apartment for 2 years to a survivor of gender-based violence, GBV, and her mother, Rebecca Isong. The presentation took place at the ministry's headquarters in Abuja, where the minister reaffirmed the government's commitment to protecting survivors of abuse and restoring dignity to victims of gender-based crimes. Godwin Sunday has more.
It was a moment filled with emotions and solidarity as the Ministry of Women Affairs extended financial support to a young girl whose life was altered by violence and trauma. The girl, whose identity is withheld for protection, is a survivor of rape and she is now living with HIV. In a symbolic act of compassion and responsibility, the Minister of Women Affairs presented a check to the girl's guardian. The funds are meant to assist her with a medical treatment, education, and overall rehabilitation.
Today, we mark the transition into a more stable phase of reintegration. The ministry has secured and furnished safe accommodation for the family for 2 years and is empowering the mother with a 1 million grant to start a business, supporting their journey. Supporting their journey towards self-reliance. The survivor has also been enrolled into school to continue her education upon resumption. Upon the resumption of the third time academic session. We extend our deep appreciation to the Safe Haven Foundation for their unwavering partnership and to His Excellency, President Bola Tinubu, GCFR, whose renewed hope agenda continues to prioritize the protection and development of women, children, families and vulnerable groups across the country.
The ministry also assured that the girl will receive free counseling, continuous medical attention and education support. It is part of a broader commitment to protect and empower survivors of abuse across the country. While speaking to journalists, the girl's guardian spoke on the rape antecedent.
For 2 years ago, I don't have money to pay for house because our father lived by a born baby girl. So I don't have money to pay for house. Then one woman directs me, take me to one elderly man. So then the man now help us for the house. So we are living there, we are staying there. I don't know when I went to work in the morning before 5, the man will enter and carry towel and cover her mouth and rape her. So the man give her HIV. Then when they do the test, the doctor do the test, but the man, they ask the man. The man said the sickness they in body for 26 years. And is that sickness he used to kill his wife. And he give many children and 3 die after 3 months. So they put him inside, the children use money and bail him.
While the scars may take time to heal, today's gesture is a reminder that survivors are not forgotten and that every act of support brings them one step closer to reclaiming their future. Godwin Sunday, reporting for Global Television News.
The Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention has listed 1,277 persons for follow-up over the possibility of being infected with Lassa fever. These follows the crimes recording 659 confirmed cases out of 3,779 suspected cases and 122 deaths in 13 weeks from January to March 30th, 2025. A report obtained from the NCDC indicated that no fewer than 18 states across the country have recorded Lassa fever cases, with Ondo, Bauchi, and Edo being the most affected. Report shows that the contacts on the follow-up number 1,277, while the contacts that have completed follow-up total 1,448. In line with the operational directives and strategic vision of the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, geared towards tackling violent crimes, dismantling criminal networks, and enhancing public safety across the country, the Nigerian Police Force says it has recorded significant breakthroughs in recent operations conducted in Kaduna State. Ogochukwu Mobono completes the story.
Force Public Relations Officer ACP Olumiyiwa Adejobi says, in a remarkable feat of interagency collaboration and strategic intelligence deployment, operatives of the Kaduna State Police Command's anti-kidnapping units, in conjunction with the Office of the National Security Advisor, successfully rescued 17 victims who had been abducted on 3rd March 2025 from Serikin Power, Niger State. Adejobi noted that the operation was achieved through a non-kinetic approach, leveraging intelligence-led policing and interagency synergy to address security challenges.
in a remarkable feat of interagency collaboration and strategic intelligence deployment. Operatives of the Kaduna State Police Command Anti-Kidnapping Unit, in conjunction with the Office of the National Security Advisor, successfully rescued 17 victims who had been abducted on 3rd March 2025 from Sakin Power in Niger State. This operation, notably achieved through a non-kinetic approach, evidences the commitment of the IGP to leveraging intelligence-led policing and interagency synergy to address security challenges.
Adejobi noted that all rescued individuals were promptly taken to the police clinic in Kaduna for medical examination and have been certified to be in stable and sound health. Adding that on the same day, 9th April 2025, operatives of the anti-kidnapping unit acting on credible intelligence intercepted a commercial Volkswagen Charan vehicle at the Kawa Central Motor Park in Kaduna. During preliminary interrogation, the suspect confessed that he was instructed by a union member to deliver the firearms to an unidentified individual in Kaduna. A full-scale investigation has been launched to dismantle the arms trafficking network and bring all perpetrators to book.
Upon thorough search, officers discovered 21 fabricated AK-47 rifles concealed in the vehicle. The suspect, identified as Jamiu Sulaiman, a 27-year-old male resident of Rafin Guza in Kaduna, was arrested and is currently in custody helping us carrying out our investigation.
During the exchange of gunfire, 2 of the robbers were neutralized, while others fled towards the nearby hills. 2 other injured suspects were apprehended and taken to the Umaru Musa Yar Adwa Memorial Hospital, Sabon Wuse, for treatment. Unfortunately, one of them was later confirmed dead, while the other is alive and currently assisting the police with further investigation. The first public relations officer says efforts are ongoing to apprehend the fleeing members of the gang and bring them to justice.
Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Bashir Adewale Adeniyi, has called for deeper unity and collaboration among customs administrations within the West and Central African region. He stressed that shared values and common goals must overweigh the differences that separate member nations. Adeniyi made the appeal during the WCO-WCA Donor Conference Cultural Night Out and Dinner at the Customs Headquarters in Abuja. Kike Lomo Okere tells us more.
The event, which brought together delegates, donors and stakeholders from across the region, was part of the ongoing effort to strengthen partnership under the auspices of the World Customs Organization's West and Central African Bloc. Speaking at the high-profile cultural gathering, the Comptroller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi, disclosed that the gathering was not just about cultural celebration, but a reinforcement of the spirit of integration that should characterize custom operations, security cooperation, and economic growth efforts in the region. He noted that customs service across the region have shared challenges and interdependent roles in trade facilitation, anti-smuggling operations, and revenue generation, underscoring the necessity of mutual cooperations.
Our dance steps, most of the time, they represent the same thing in Africa that has high percussion and high rhythm. It's the same that we find in some other parts of our sub-region. Tells me it's very simple. Those things that unite us are more important than those things that separate us. It has therefore become very important, and it's an obligation for us to begin to dwell more on those things that brings us together. Is that we should develop a stronger spirit of cooperation, collaboration, and understanding.
The event also featured cultural displays, musical performance, and networking opportunities, all aimed at showcasing the rich heritage of participating nations while fostering stronger interpersonal and institutional ties. The cultural night was held on the sideline of the WCO-WCA Donor Conference, which continues to highlight key areas of reform, modernization, and technical assistance in custom operations across the region. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
You're watching the live broadcast of Midday News, where Midday News returns. Witkoff meets Putin as Trump urges Russia to get moving on Ukraine ceasefire. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Midday News on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, lawmakers from the Northeast geopolitical zone have expressed strong dissatisfaction over the exclusion of their region from the federal government's Special Agro-Industry Processing Zone program. Speaking after an emergency meeting held at the National Assembly complex in Abuja, the caucus, which includes all senators and representatives from Adamawa, Bauchi, Borno, Gombe, Taraba, and Yobe states, led by its chairman, Northeast Caucus, Senator Danjuma Goje, commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the initiative, but called for the immediate inclusion of the Northeast in the SAPZ program. Ramsey Enoch Agbo tells us more.
Chairman Northeast Caucus, Senator Danjuma Goje, emphasized that the exclusion of Northeast in the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zones program undermines the goals of the program and marginalizes a region that plays a critical role in Nigeria's agricultural economy.
Appeal for the immediate inclusion of the Northeast Geographical Zone, the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zones, SAPZ. This is not only for fairness and inclusivity, but for the actualization of the lofty ideals of the present administration to industrialize Nigeria's agricultural sector.
Senator Aminu Abbas also echoed the concern raised by Senator Ali Ndume, who had earlier criticized the lopsided nature of public office appointments, urging the presidency to uphold the principle of federal character by ensuring fair representations across all regions.
Legislators voted for our people, by our people. So we are standing for our people. Wherever we see there is short change on behalf of Northeast, we won't talk about Northeast. We are talking about Adamawa or Taraba or Gombe or Yobe. We are talking about Northeast now here. We are saying it's only fair for Northeast to be given this. Let me tell you, if we talk of livestock in Nigeria, Northeast number one.
And similarly, Honorable Ali Jesse emphasized that the grievances voiced by the caucus are rooted in a genuine concern for the well-being of their constituents. He therefore called on the federal government to urgently address the imbalance and ensure equity in order to fully tap into the Northeast's vast potential in agro-industrial development.
Federal character must be applied not only on appointment but including projects. I find it difficult to believe how can the federal government have 6 locations that they want to share, 8 locations in this country. And out of the 8, Northeast is one of the 6 zones we have in the north, in the country. Out of the 8, you cannot allocate 1 to Northeast. This is very unacceptable.
The SAPS program, backed by a $530 million partnership involving the federal government, African Development Bank, Islamic Development Bank, and IFAD, was launched to transform Nigeria's agricultural sector and boost job creation. Phase 1 of the project was flagged off by Vice President Kashim Shettima in Kaduna State earlier this week, covering 7 states, and the FCT, notably the Northwest and Southwest, have 2 zones each, where the Southeast, South-South, and North-Central got 1 each, leaving out the Northeast entirely. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff met Vladimir Putin in St. Petersburg as Donald Trump urged the Russian president to get moving on a ceasefire in Ukraine. The Kremlin said the meeting lasted for more than 4 hours and focused on aspects of Ukrainian settlement. The talks, which closed third with Putin this year, were described by the special envoy Kirill Matreev as productive. Trump has expressed frustration with Putin over the state of talks. He wrote on social media, "Russia has to get moving. Too many people are dying thousands a week in a terrible and senseless war." On sports now, Bayelsa United extended their unbeaten run to 7 matches in all competition with a 3-0 victory over out-of-form Shooting Stars at the Samson Siasia Stadium in Yanangwa. The Prosperity Boys made their intentions clear early in the matchday 33 opener of the 2024-25 Nigerian Premier League season, dominating professions and craving out opportunities from the opening minutes. An early effort from Yusuf Issa in the 17th minute forced a straightforward save from the Shooting Stars goalkeeper Mustafa Lawal before Kehinde Malik tested him again shortly afterwards with a half volley. And that's it on Global TV Midday News. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @Global TV NG. You can download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good afternoon.